Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Index.html page where we created the banner, put the banner on top. Here's my banner, Donuts Are Life. Donuts Are My Life. And then we created a horizontal navigation, and it's right here. Now what we did last at the end of the video, I had you go into Text Wrangler and get this done, and then go File, Save As, and you're going to save copies of the index page as topic2.html, topic3.html, and topic4.html, and that way you have all your pages started, your web pages, your .html pages, because your banner and your navigation are already on the page, and it'll be the same for each of those pages. So you might as well make copies and get it all set to go. So open up your index, I-N-D-E-X, index.html page in Text Wrangler, and then go ahead and look at it if you want to open it in a browser. I have mine in Firefox. I'll just keep it there. So this way I'm going to just add to it and then keep reloading it and see how it looks. So let me go into Text Wrangler. Now my page is called something different only because I'm adding to my index. I already have my index done. Here's where we are, okay? And the last thing we did in between the body tags was we have that unordered list, and we gave the ID name to the UL tag nav. So from now on, that UL tag right here will be named or called by the computer nav, and it'll know it as such, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add things below the unordered list. So here's the closing off of the unordered list here. We're going to put our cursor to the right of that, hit the return key to drop it down. You can hit it a couple times, and empty space isn't red, so it doesn't matter how much empty space you have, really. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an image. So to add an image, we're going to do the same thing we did up here. In fact, you can, if you want to, you can highlight that tag right there with the banner and put it right down here. And I have an image where this web page is called Donut right there. Donut. And my picture is about 500 pixels wide, 506 by 462. Okay? And that's probably what you want for the home page. About 500 pixels wide on your image. It could be any image you want, but just really worry about the width. So about 500 pixels by 462, but 500 is what you're going for width-wise. And you can double-click it and open it in preview. And when you open it in preview, again, you can go to Tools, adjust size, make sure it is pixels, and put about 500. So it's 506. I can put 500 if you want. And save it. And then once you do it, you have to save it. You have to go Command-S to save it, and it makes the change. Okay? And that's how you do that. Now, again, my picture isn't called banner. It's called donut. But it's the same coding. Okay? So I can just copy and paste. And I'm going to give this donut picture an ID name. So I'm going to go inside the angle bracket there, hit the space bar, and I'm going to say ID equals pick1. Okay? So from now on, this image to the computer and the CSS will be called pick1. All right? Now, let's go ahead and do the CSS for that. So what we're going to do is there's two things we're going to do in the CSS. I'm going to go up here and put my cursor. I'm above the closing of the style tag because it's in between the style tags where the CSS goes. And I'm going to say number sign pick1 because that's the name of the thing down there. And I'll do my open and close curly brackets. And there's two things in between the curly brackets we're going to do. We're going to float left so it opens up empty space on the right hand side of that image. And then we're going to say padding. We're going to create some empty space around it. So padding 40px. Okay? Like that. So now when you check it, it should look something like that, but I can't find the image. So let me see what I did. Oh, donut, it's a PNG. See how it's a .png? It's not a JPEG. I assumed that it was a JPEG. So I will go down here and tell it what kind of file type it is, PNG. So now the computer is not going to look for donut.png. And again, when it does that, there it is. Okay? And it's floating to the left there. All right? Now, that's done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a heading, some kind of subheading, and we're going to use an H4 tag. Remember, subheadings or headings come in 6 sizes, 1 through 6. The thing is that with CSS, I can tell the font size to be as big as I want on anything. So I can make a paragraph bigger than an H1 tag. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to use H4 just because. And then I'm going to say your subheading here. And really what you want is kind of welcome to my site about donuts. Welcome to my site about, you know, Portland Trailblazers. Welcome to my site, you know, about this. So whatever your site is about, you're going to have kind of a welcome statement to your audience. Okay? And then you're going to close off the H4 tag. So again, if you remember, I know it's been about a month, we're going to tell the computer what tag we want to do. We're going to type out what we want it to say. And then when we're done, we basically tell the computer to stop that effect, to stop the heading. Okay? And right after that, we're going to add a paragraph. It's like an introductory paragraph. So I'm going to use a P tag for paragraph, and I'm going to hit the return key a couple times and then close off the P tag. I always like to open and close before I do anything, just so I remember. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to go Command S to save. Now, in Firefox, I have Libsyn.com already set up, and I'm going to grab a paragraph. And this is going to be an introductory paragraph that you're probably going to have to write. And it's just going to say, hi, welcome to my site about donuts. On this site, you'll find things like the history of donuts, how to make a donut at home, the top 10 favorite donut places in the country, why I like donuts, pictures of donuts, you know, things, whatever. You're going to tell the audience what's on this site. Okay, so I just copied a paragraph of text. Now, notice that it went one line, and again, to change this, I'm going to go up to View, Text Display, Soft Wrap Text, Soft Wrap. What it does is, it brings it back so the paragraph fits in this little box here. So, I have a paragraph of text, okay? Okay, so now we're going to use CSS to design it. So again, we're going to go, I have the heading here and the paragraph. And again, the paragraph you're going to write. And I'm going to go up. Here's my style tags. Here's where it stops. I'm going to hit my return key. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk to the P tag. Actually, let's talk to the heading, H4. So we're going to say, hey, computer, there's an H4 tag down there, and here's what we want to do. Okay? And we're going to say font-family. I'll just say sans serif. Okay? And then the size, I'll say font size to change the size of the text to 2EM. Remember that 1EM is normal, whatever normals for H4 tag. And then 2EM is twice that. And then I'm going to move it over 100 pixels from the left. Margin dash left 100 px. And then when you save it and update it, it's starting to look like that. Okay? Now, we've done the subheading. Now we're going to talk to the P tag. So I'm going to go up here in between the style tags, and again, hit the return key, and we're going to say, hey computer, there's a paragraph tag down there, P, and then do the curly brackets. And we're basically announcing to the computer, here's the tag we want to mess around with down in the HTML, and this is what we want to do in between the curly brackets. So we're going to say font dash size 1.5 EM, and again 1 EM is whatever normal size paragraph text is, and then we're going to say line dash height, and that's the space in between each line of the paragraph. Each line of text in the paragraph, you can tell it how much space you want in between each line. I'm going to say 1.55 EM. And then we're going to justify the text. Text dash align justify. And one more thing, we're going to say padding. No, sorry. We're going to say margin dash top 50 px. So it's going to create empty space of 50 px on the top. So I'm going to save it and then reload it, and here it is right here. Now it seems like the paragraph is too long. I mean, there's too much spacing. So we're using 1.5 for the spacing in between each line of paragraph. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to change it to about 1.2 on the line height. And then again, do the same thing. Refresh it. Okay, and maybe 1.3 or 4 might be best. You want it, you want to figure out how much text you're going to use compared to your image. See how they're kind of balanced now? That's what you want. You want balance between your design, between the left and the right, if you can. Okay, so we're done with that. Again, you're going to have different colors. You can use anything. You can load font faces if you want. Add font face. Just have a different color scheme than I do. I just have white and red and black, really, but that's it. So we're going to add something below this paragraph and image. So there's one more thing we're going to do. Here's my HTML in between the body tags. I'm going to hit the return key and drop my cursor down. I'm going to go and I'm going to make a div that's going to hold 3 images. So I'm going to say div ID equals, I'm going to call it 3 pics. I'm going to have 3 pictures in there, small ones, side by side, horizontally, all in a row. And I'm going to make a div to hold all that stuff. And that's what I've done. I've made a div. I've given it an ID name that we'll use in the CSS to design it and talk to it. And then I've closed it off. So it's just basically a box waiting to have something inside of it. That's all it is. Okay, now I'm going to, in between the box, let me hit some space there. And I'm going to make one box that's going to hold one pic. So I'm going to call it div ID equals 1 pic. And again, this is inside a larger box. It can get a little confusing. And so in that, I'm going to place an image. And I'm going to use the image tag, img space src, src equals donut1.jpg. Okay? And then I'm going to paste and change some things. So I'm going to copy this, Command C to copy. Now again, I'm going to work inside this larger box. And here's the closing div for my larger box 3 picks. Okay? I'm going to go below this and paste it, and I'm going to change the second one, instead of 1 pick, 2 pick, and instead of donut 1, donut 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing, copy and paste, and again 3 pick, and then donut 3. So what I have is I have 3 pictures of donuts, and I've resized them and made them small. Okay, and they're all in my folder right here. So here's my web page that I'm working on now. Okay, and I have my images that are on it. Here's my main image, the donut. Here are the small little donuts, and each one, it looks like it's 250 wide. So 250. Now donut 2 and 3 are much better sizings together. They're both basically 250 by 180. One's 189, but still. Okay? So that's the sizing, about 250 pixels wide. And again, they're all in the folder so they can find each other. So now, let me go into Text Wrangler. Let me save it. Let me show you the coding again. Here's the big box with the small little boxes holding one little image in each box, right there. And then if I save it and reload it, you'll see that again there's no CSS, so it's going to lay like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the CSS and talk to all this stuff right here and design it. So it's laid out, it's there looking like a mess, and let me hit this here. So again, here's our larger box, and here's our little boxes. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay? And there's the closing of the big box 3 picks. So I'm going to use those ID names to talk to each one and design it up here in the CSS. So here we are in between the style tags up here, and I've got notes here. Where the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk to the div 3 picks. We're going to talk to the big box right here. And we're going to say, because it's an ID name, we're going to use a number sign. And the name we gave it was 3_picks and a curly brackets. Again, the open and close curly brackets. In between those things, we're going to put a laundry list of stuff to change this 3 picks div. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a width of 100%. So it's going to go all the way across the page pretty much. Okay? And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lower it below our donut image and our paragraph. So we're going to say margin dash top 250 px, and that's going to move it from it's going to move it down vertically down 250 pixels. Okay, so again, if I look at this and reload it, there it is right there. Now they're horizontal, okay, but notice they're all together. All right, now we're not done yet. We're going to go stay up here in the CSS, and we're going to talk to each of the boxes together. So I'm going to talk to this div called 1pick, this div called 2pick, this div called 3pick, and talk to them all at the same time because I want to do the same thing to each one. So I'm going to go up here. Again, I'm above the closing of the style tag, put my cursor right there, blinking, ready to go, and I'm going to say number sign 1pick, comma, number sign 2_pick, comma, and number sign 3 underscore pick. Okay, come talk to each one, and then the curly brackets. Open curly bracket, hit the return key a few times, and then close off the curly bracket. So I'll be talking to each one of these at the same time because they're all the same basically. So that way I can just save some time. And we're going to do two things. We're going to say the width. Remember, the big box is 100% wide. We're going to divide that by 3. So the width of each of these little boxes is going to be 33%. And then we're going to say float left. So that's going to create some empty space to the right of each of those little boxes. And then if we save that and look at it, there it is right there. Okay? Now, we're going to talk to each of these images and put a border around them. But right now, that's, it's pretty good. They're all in a line. They're all, like in little boxes. They're all in a smaller little boxes inside of a larger box called 3 picks. And so we're going to go back to our coding. We're going to go up just below. Here's the stuff we're doing in the paragraph tag. We're going to talk to the first letter of the paragraph. Or actually, excuse me, let's do one more thing. We're going to go down here. Here's the last thing I did right here. We're going to stay above the style tag, which is right here. And we're going to put our cursor up there. And we're going to say number sign, sorry, 3. There's a couple different ways we can do this. We can say number sign 3 picks, because that's the big box, and then img. So we're only going to talk to the image tag inside the big box, which is those 3 little images. Excuse me. We're going to say display block, and then we're going to say margin dash left auto, margin dash right auto, padding. We're going to create some empty space inside around each image, and then here's what we're going to do. We're going to say border colon 5 pixels, and then it's going to be dotted. And then the number color is going to be different, but I'm going to just say 222, which is a dark gray, almost black. And then we're going to round the corners. Border of the border. Border dash radius. And we're going to say 25px. And that's going to create a rounded border. So again, that's what I did, just the small little images of the donuts at the bottom, because it's inside a large box called 3 picks. I'm talking specifically just to that image tag. So,
hello.
So I'm going to click it, and here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go back. And it's looking pretty good. Let me see what else we can do. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I want to do. I want to talk to the initial first letter of the paragraph right here, this L, and I'm going to make it larger to kind of, stylize it a little bit. So what I like to do is like to put my CSS, just like my HTML, in kind of sequential order. So I'm going to go right, here's the P. Now again, I'm in between the style tags. I'm talking to the CSS. Here's the P that we just did, the stuff to the P tag, paragraph tag. I'm going to put my cursor below there, and I'm going to say, let me find it here. P first letter, so we're going to say P colon first letter, and this is going to talk to any kind of paragraph tag. Now we could be specific, we could give this paragraph a class name or an ID name or whatever, and be very specific. So it's only talking to that one. But because there's only one paragraph on our page, we can just say P. P colon first dash letter. And notice the first and letter are in blue. And we're going to do a couple things. We're going to say font dash size 3.5 EM. And again, 1 EM is normal. And it's going to make it much bigger than the other. The first letter will be much bigger than the other letters in the paragraph. And then we're also going to say line dash height colon 1 EM. And again, 1 EM is normal. So go back here. I'm going to refresh it, and you'll see that it's created a large letter. Okay, so I want your page to look something like this. And again, you're going to have a subheading here that's going to say, hi, welcome to my website about donuts, or hi, welcome to my website about Minecraft, or whatever. And then in the subheading, and then the paragraph is going to be an introductory paragraph explaining to the audience, explaining to the person who came to your website what they might find on your website. Just like initial beginning paragraph, okay? And it should, again, look something like that. Now, you can change the colors of the text. You can make a border on the image, just so it kind of lays out like this. That's what I'm looking for. Okay? Thanks.